Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm going to detail a deadly incident involving the Lewis Park Bloods in Stockton. Now, Stockton has been a deadly city for decades. For a small city per capita, its murder rate and crime has been very high. And with the lack of opportunity in the city, and even less destinations for people to do anything, it became easier to commit crimes there, with the lack of police and the city even going bankrupt in the past. With not much opportunity in Stockton, the urban communities would take a major hit, and many gangs would form all throughout Stockton in the 80s, like several Blood, Crip, and Norte gangs, and many rappers you see today in Stockton are affiliated with either of the three. Now the Lewis Park Bloods, or the Lewis Park Pirus, have a history dating back over 30 years ago. They hail from the west side of Stockton, and have been a fully active gang, making noise in the streets for years. They will also go to war with several Crip and Norte gangs in the city of Stockton. Stockton has been known to be a predominantly Crip and Norte city, with those two having the most sets claiming Crip and Norte throughout the city of Stockton, and the Lewis Park Bloods would gain several enemies, with that being one of the sole reasons. The Lewis Park name comes from a park in their hood, and their hood would be established by the 80s. Lewis Park will start off as an African American community, but going into the 90s, it will be an influx of Cambodian immigrants. The gang's demographics will then start to change. Many of the black members will start to go to jail, or many moved out the city, and many Cambodians will start to fill up the community. The black members of Lewis Park embraced the Asians moving into their communities, and they would build a tight connection and both claim and bang the area with a passion. The Cambodians would even take the blood identity off the influence the black community provided. Just like the black members, the Asian members would even make a name in the streets for themselves and will have a long history of violence to follow. With the growing social media presence in the last decade, more light has been shined on the Lewis Parks, from hood vlogs, interviews, and rappers coming out the area, some being rappers like Bounce Back Meat, Javin 2900, and Paru Brits, among many others. Now in this video, I'ma detail a crazy incident involving the Lewis Parks and a rival gang. Hostility between members of the Lewis Park and members of the Nortes erupted during their 2008 New Year's party, with an exchange of words starting first and then gunfire followed. Some Bloods believe that a man named John, a Norte, shot at Bloods at the party. There was another exchange of gunfire on January 25th, 2008. 2 weeks later, on February 8th, 2008, John made a big mistake. John went to Lewis Park with his family, including his father's girlfriend Renee and her kids Aaron, Alana, and Marissa. John wore a red sweater and had a red belt with the 14 on the belt buckle, representing Norte. He also had black shoes and also a red and black hat. Renee noticed four men walking towards John. One of the men wore a black hoodie and had a red bandana over his face. John recognized the man with the red bandana over his face as Beast, someone he know being affiliated with Lewis Park. Beast put his bandana down and spoke to John in a loud and aggressive voice. He said to John, "What's up? Where your friends at now?" Beast then told John, "I got you now, you're slipping," and said that John was lucky he was with his family or he was going to blast him. Beast then walked away, yelling out Westside Bloods at John and throwing up his hood. But this wasn't over. Beast would later come back to the park, but this time, he came back with a group of Bloods. He also had a gun. Seeing all the commotion, Renee ran to get her kids and trying to get them out the situation. John told Beast that there were kids around and that they would handle the situation another time. Beast told John and his group to get out the park or else. John's father later came to the park. John Sr., he would tell Beast that they would leave immediately. Beast and his crew then walked away. Even though John had a gun, him and his family just decided to leave. They wanted to keep the kids safe and away from an altercation. John's group then ran to their cars and left the parking lot quickly. Renee's son Aaron sat in the front passenger seat of Renee's car, while her daughters Elena and Marissa sat in the back seat. The next thing you know, gunfire erupted in the park. John heard gunshots coming from an area inside the park. John saw Beast and his crew of Bloods doing the shooting. John's father heard close to a dozen gunshots from what sounded like 3 guns. After he heard gunshots, John grabbed his gun and fired 12 to 14 shots at the Bloods. After he fired his gun, John heard 10 more shots coming back towards him. But unfortunately, a bullet pierced the driver's side door of Renee's car. The bullet hit young Aaron's left lung and it caused him to bleed to death. A bullet also wounded Renee in her left arm during the shooting. John and his father, John Sr., identified Beast from a photo lineup. John also told police that Beast was the person who confronted him at the park. When police raided Beast's home, they found a red bandana and albums containing photos of Beast and other gang members throwing up gang signs and wearing red clothing. Police did not find a gun. Beast was taken into custody just a few days later after the shooting. Renee was later interviewed. She told police that a man named Rat may have been present at the shooting. On March 20th, 2008, Rat was picked up and he was interviewed by the police. The police video and audio recorded the interview. It was also later played at his trial. During his interview, Rat told police that he and Beast drove by Lewis Park, where they saw people they believed to be Nortes at the park, which were their rivals. They then drove back to their neighborhood to recruit their homies. They would see Michael and a man named DeAndre. Beast told Michael and DeAndre there was Nortes at the park, so get their guns. As the man drove to the park, they discussed their intentions. They were going to shoot and separate when the shooting began. Beast and DeAndre said they were going to shoot the Nortes at the park because of what happened on New Year's. When they got back to the park, Beast was the first person to pull out his weapon, and he also was the first person to shoot. He started aiming at cars that were leaving. Then Michael and DeAndre ran up and fired their guns multiple times as well. Following his March 20th interview, Rat was taken into custody. He admitted to detectives that he did the shooting and that he shot a 4.5 during the shooting. All 4 shooters will later be arrested. DeAndre was 17, Rat was 17, Michael was 19, and Beast was 21 at the time of the shooting. Beast at trial said he shot at John in self-defense. He provided the following narrative. On February 8th, 2008, Beast said he saw John at Lewis Park. Beast believed that John posed a danger to him and the neighborhood based on the New Year's shooting. Beast told Rat they needed guns and that they also needed backup, so they recruited Michael and DeAndre. Beast told DeAndre and Michael that they were going to the park to punk John and kick him out the park. Once inside the park, Beast said he walked up to John and told him this is Westside blood and that John had to leave the park. John indicated that he would leave. He did not pull out a gun. Beast also saw people running to their cars. Beast would then say that him and his crew walked back to the direction of his car. That's when they reached the area near the picnic tables and he heard gunshots. He said he ducked, and that's when him and his crew started firing back. After this, Beast said he dropped everyone off. Beast said he would later go to a friend's house a few blocks away from the park, where he would stay for a few hours. He later went to a casino that night. By 2009, all men would be in trial for this case. Rat was 18 at the time, and he was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. A jury found him guilty of a long list of charges, including first-degree murder. DeAndre, who was also 18 by this time, had pled guilty in a deal. That got him 30 years and 8 months. He maintained that sentencing that he wasn't in a gang, or that he wasn't carrying a gun that day. Michael would later speak at the trial. He blamed his childhood for the crime he committed, saying he had a hard life growing up. He would later get sentenced to 26 years. He was the only one of the defendants to make a statement in court. Despite a nervous grin and much of the emotional hearing, he apologized and spoke directly to Renee, Aaron's mother. He would say that Aaron didn't deserve what happened to him on February 8, 2008. He would say I was young and dumb. He also stated it was a stupid mistake. And lastly, Beast, the so-called ringleader of the whole incident. Beast was later sentenced at a later date, which he would receive life without the possibility of parole. 10 years later, Aaron's family still mourns his death. His mother Renee would say the bitterness of not knowing who he'd be or who he could have been, it kills me. She said it honestly does kill me because it's taken away from me, and even though I took my power back, I still have that hole in my heart. Aaron never got to live his life, being killed at the young age of 13. He would have been 30 this year. This is a story of what being in the streets can bring you in your life and can affect your family, with them sometimes being caught in the crossfire, like this story. And unfortunate events like this can happen. R.I.P. to Aaron. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.